This is Passport Planet. And yep, we are back, rejuvenated and ready to take a step back in time to the ancient city of Dubrovnik, Croatia, located right along the Adriatic Sea. Buckle up, because we are going to take a step back in time to one of the most truly magical medieval cities that I've ever visited, and that is why a good chunk of Game of Thrones was filmed here, which I cannot wait to see for myself in person. And I truly believe once you watch this whole video, you're going to be fully ready to start saving, working overtime, and getting on that keyboard to book your flight over here. From Dubrovnik Airport to the Old Town, which is where 99% of the tourists go to, mind you, and that is because that's where the medieval fortified original town is. You could take a bus, which is the cheapest, which costs around €9, or you can get a private car, which will cost you around €28 roughly. Our Airbnb was steps away from the Old Town, and they arranged a car to pick us up, which made it very easy for us. Our driver dropped us off around 2 blocks away from where our small Airbnb was, which was conveniently right outside the entrance to the Old Town where the drawbridge was. We quickly dropped off our bags and we went exploring around the outside of the Old Town before we really went back in time. Before we move forward, I want to give an overhead glimpse of where we're going to be covering today in this review and where the Old Town of Dubrovnik. Obviously, Dubrovnik is a pretty large city, but the Old Town, the fortified part of Dubrovnik, is right here. So if you see my cursor, this area right here is the Old Town, okay? You cannot drive there, everything is walking, okay? That's the only place that you cannot drive in. So right here is the drawbridge. That is where you walk. I'm just going to zoom in real quick so you can understand. That's where we got dropped off by our driver right here. This is like the square area. All right, this is where that drawbridge is. You see that little rook of a castle. That's where you go into the old town. Where we stayed at, our Airbnb was right in this area. It was very close, and you're going to see in the next couple minutes we went up to the old fortress, which is right here, and that's where we're going to walk to, and then we are going to go back into the Old Town. So I just wanted to show you that so you kind of have a better understanding of we're only going to be concentrating in this area and the fortress. I was kind of blabbing away here, but the gist of what I was saying was make sure you stay hydrated here, because we were here in the summer and the end of July, and you will definitely conquer a lot of hills and a ton of steps. You'll definitely sweat a lot, so it'll be easy to cramp up. Our first stop was the fortress, which was also the filming place of Game of Thrones. That was where the prison was for King's Landing. And here you could see my mom, who had to take breaks in between. She broke her ankle last year, so she had to take a few stops once in a while. And like I said, the views from up top of the fortress overlooking the Old Town here gives you a great glimpse of the city and the Adriatic Sea. I mean, look how turquoise that blue water is. And I even asked my daughter, and of course, she's camera shy, but she even loved it. It was absolutely breathtaking, and we couldn't wait to get down there. So, on our descent down from the fortress, we ran into this awesome little hidden gem of a beach. It absolutely looked perfect to take a nice refreshing dip in the water after exploring the city. People were jumping off the rocks, I saw people using the ladder, and there's even a beach bar nearby. It looked like it was really busy in the afternoon, so make sure you get there really early for a quieter experience. Make this very quick. If anyone is interested in checking out that small watering hole, it's right here. It's called Beach Solik. Okay, I took the video right about here, and that's the way down. Here's where the fortress was, right in this area, and that's where this really cool swimming hole is. So I highly recommend it. It looks really refreshing. And finally, we're walking over the drawbridge and into the Old Town. I'm already starting to get some Game of Thrones vibes, and I couldn't wait to see if the pictures and videos matched what I was seeing through my very own eyes. They have here in the city called the Dubrovnik Pass. That includes entrance to walk the city walls, which I will tell you costs €40 in itself, entrance to museums and galleries of Dubrovnik. It also includes public transportation. I will tell you right now, it is worth it, and make sure you get it. So here we are. As you enter, as to no surprise, it is packed with tourists, just like me. And this is the main long corridor of the Old Town. To the left and to the right, you're absolutely peppered with souvenir shops, restaurants, and other novelty stores. Picture it as Main Street downtown Disney, whether you're in California or in the one in Florida. This is the main drag, I guess so to speak, of the Old Town. And as you can tell by looking at the super shiny glass looking streets, there was not a single speck of garbage that I found. Everything was pristinely clean, and surprisingly, now that I'm thinking of it, I didn't even see anyone walking around picking up garbage or debris. And when it comes to traveling with an 11-year-old, it's all about give and take. So we stopped at the first candy store that we saw, and being from New York, I've pretty much seen everything when it comes to food, but this place was a first for me. And if anyone that is watching this and plans on going, this candy shop was about around 1 football field length from the main entrance on the right-hand side. And if you're traveling with children, I can pretty much guarantee you that they will spot this in an absolute heartbeat. And here you can see the bell tower, and I would highly recommend using this as a reference if you ever get lost or if you need to find a waypoint of getting out of the Old Town, because it is a labyrinth of side streets and there's different alleyways, so it's easy to get lost if you don't have a good sense of direction. And here's a perfect example of the narrow alleyways that are jam-packed with restaurants and different eateries. And it was fairly warm that day. I want to say it was around like 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And right next to the bell tower is this really cool Gothic looking water fountain where we washed our face, our hands, and yes, you can fill up your water bottle and it is drinkable water. It actually tasted pretty good. The other nice thing about it is that there is restaurants, cafes, tons of gelato places everywhere, so you will not grow hungry at all. And you have some live entertainment. And this famous playwriter known as Dubrovnik Shakespeare, and people often rub his nose for a safe journey home and a return journey back. And as we continued walking, here is another square where it was again filled with restaurants and other yummy eateries. And as we passed a statue here on the left, we're coming up on the Jesuit stairs. That is a Baroque staircase that was built in 1798, and it was made even more famous when Queen Cersei from Game of Thrones did her walk of shame to atone for her sins. So my daughter and I obviously walked up the stairs, and I must say it was really cool as a huge Game of Thrones fan to walk these very steps of where the scene I'm about to show you was taken. And besides the steps, obviously there's some props and a bit of CGI, but nonetheless, it was really cool to experience this, and obviously this episode of Game of Thrones. Made it upstairs. We walked up Jesuit steps, and this is what it looks like up top here. Nothing crazy. It's kind of run down, but it's still beautiful. You can see up top. And like I said, the only thing worthwhile once you hit up to the top of Jesuit stairs is this really nice view of overlooking the square and a good chunk of the Old Town. And as we were walking down the stairs, I thought the side streets were pretty cool to see, as it looked like it was a movie prop, essentially. There even also was a unique restaurant that had a pulley system from the kitchen down to the dining area, which then prompted us to go on the hunt to find something to eat. There are literally dozens upon dozens of restaurants to eat from and to choose from, so you have a ton of options of what your palate's actually calling for. After some hemming and hawing, we finally all agreed on where to stop and eat, and I settled on a delicious octopus. And after our delicious dinner, the sun set, and this is when Dubrovnik really shines as such a beautiful city that glimmers off the streets. And one would think that the crowds would die down, but it actually turned out to be the exact opposite. And here you could really see how the streets are so shiny and that their lights reflect onto you. And I'll be honest, seeing Dubrovnik in the evening and into the night was more beautiful than the daytime. And as we hit the main water fountain at the entrance and exit of the old town, we were just blown away of how we began to see the city turn even more beautiful. And this is the staircase right by the entrance and the exit of the old town. And it's very steep, mind you, but this is where I'm going to take you all tomorrow morning to walk the city walls. And that is really where you get to see Dubrovnik. And you have an amazing bird's eye view of what we all did today. I wanted to go up top where the prison was from Game of Thrones, but it's closed off because there's a play going on. But just to show you what it looks like at night, and it is now 9:13, and it is absolutely stunning. And after a great night's sleep, I made my way over to the entrance to walk the city wall, and this is where it pays to get the Dubrovnik Pass. It's 40 euros alone just to walk the wall. But since we're only here for 24 hours, we didn't visit any museums or do any galleries of anything. And here's that steep staircase that I filmed last night with the water fountain next to it. And as you get to the top, take a minute to recoup, because after all, you just walked a very steep staircase. And just take in all these amazing views you're about to see. And this is just my personal preference, I would walk towards the Adriatic seaside first and make your way around the city that side. And as you could tell, there are not many tourists here because I got to the city wall around 7:30 in the morning. And right here in front of us, if you remember the beginning of the video, is the main corridor, or as I call it, Main Street of the Old Town, with the bell tower all the way at the end of the street. Unfortunately, in the beginning, it seemed like there were more people on the wall than there were on the streets itself. But that was only at the entrance, and the crowds died out as you walked around the walls. And if you look in the background, right there in the middle of the screen, that's where the fortress was, where we first went when we got to Dubrovnik, and where I took that video last night. If you're crunched for time, like I was, do yourself a favor and make sure you have time to take your time to walk this wall. It's about 1.2 miles in total length, and with all the stopping and going, taking photographs, taking in the scenery and the sights, it'll take you at least an hour and a half to see. Believe it or not, the Old Town isn't just for tourists, restaurants, and hotels, or souvenir shops. There are actually people that reside here full-time, which I didn't realize until I saw for myself. But can you imagine living in a place where your backyard isn't just a backyard? It's the Adriatic Sea. I mean, I guess the flip side is that you have over 1 million tourists that visit here every year, and you have zero privacy in your backyard. So I guess you got to take the good with the bad. But this view right here, I can live with every single day. And as you can see here, some of the walls are very narrow walkways. So if you're traveling with kids that like to explore and be a little nosy, there are no safety nets on the other side of the wall, so be aware of that. And of course, when you walk over a mile in the blistering sun, you're going to want to take a pit stop and take a breather for a little bit. I got some shade and I stopped at this bistro to relax for a few and got an espresso, and I took in these incredible views. And this $5 espresso was probably the most I've ever spent on an espresso, but I wasn't complaining. And here in the distance is Lokrum Island, which is a very popular place to visit also. Ferries run from the Old Town to the island every half hour, and it costs 30 euros, which includes a round-trip ferry ticket. The island is known for its botanical gardens and is also the filming location for the city of Karth in Season 2 of Game of Thrones. And although it was getting really hot out, the sun seemed manageable for whatever reason, but I think it was because I was just so overwhelmed with so much scenery that I was seeing. And here I'm on the backside of the Old Town, and I would say it was about halfway through, maybe a little bit more, of walking the wall. And here is the platform of where you get the ferry, and that'll take you right to Lokrum Island. And I don't want to bore you with continuous videos of walking around the whole wall, but these are some of the highlights. I think that you all would love everything about this city. And I did my best to savor every moment of it. And if I haven't convinced you yet to come visit, I hope the next few shots will put the icing on the cake, because it definitely did for me. And here's the highest point of the entire wall. I climbed up this tower to get the best view I have seen yet. The terracotta roofs, Lokrum Island in the distance. Absolutely worth all the sweating I did today to see this place that was founded all the way back, dating from the 7th century. And if you see on the right hand side, yes, your eyes are not playing games on you. There's even a basketball court for kids that reside in the old town. And before we took off on our journey down to Montenegro, I had to stop at the spot where multiple scenes from Game of Thrones was filmed, right in this very spot and pier. And sadly, all fun things do have to come to an end at some point, but I'll leave you with this. If you love history and you're a fan of Game of Thrones, this is the place to visit. So is it doable to visit Dubrovnik in 24 hours? It is, but this place is so beautiful and unique that I would suggest at least 3 days minimum to see everything that this city has to offer. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it gives my viewers a unique experience of what Dubrovnik is all about, and that it entices you to get out of the everyday grind, take some time off of work, and get to Croatia. I can't promise many things, but I can promise you this. When you see this place from your very own eyes, you'll understand where I'm coming from. This is Passport Planet signing off. Thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next country.